Is multifamily a good investment? Well, the short, of course it is. If you look at the current and the past performance of multifamily real estate, it has always outperformed most other classes of investment, specifically and especially in commercial real estate. If you look just at multifamily by itself, look at today, right? Have gone up to historic levels. And with the raise in interest rates, the ability for someone who wants to go and stop being a renter and become a home buyer has diminished quickly, right? So someone who could afford maybe a $350,000 house just over a year and a half ago now can only afford $250,000, for which there are none. So those who want to seek a home are going to sit in the sidelines and then become renters, and renters for longer. It puts more downward pressure on the rental market, which in fact is behind the curve. Since 2007, 2008, we have been at a lack in supply of just the housing units that come online. Looking alone from 2020 to 2030, we need about 16 million homes, and we're on pace to build about 10 to 11 million homes. So if you think about that, what's going to happen? Well, people can't buy a home. They don't want to move because of the cost of moving right now. They're going to stay, and so units are going to stay filled longer, which is going to put more pressure on rents, right? So go up, even if it's not at these massive increases we've seen in the last few years, but they're going to continue to go up, and we're going to see properties stay more full. So if you look at multifamily overall, it definitely serves the test of time to be a great investment for you and for your partners. So you want to get started in investing in. There's a number of strategic steps you can do to get yourself out of the gate. First is, what is your goal for investing here? Are you looking to buy your first 4 or 5 unit, or are you looking at a larger property, right? Because that's going to set the stage. Maybe that first 4 or 5 or even 10 unit, you can buy yourself, right? But if it's a larger property, are you going to be able to do that yourself? So you have to get the idea of what you want to buy. And then what are your goals from that? Are you doing this because you want to build your net worth? Do you want to get cash flow? All of the above. Once you've had that destination, you start building back. Okay, what areas do we want to invest in? Are we looking at areas that are high growth, have friendly landlord laws, right? There's a lot of jobs, a lot of job activity, right? Are we looking at those markets? And when you basically can dive down and say, this is the market we want to be in, well, who are those team members, right? What roles are we going to fill? From a multifamily investor, there's a lot of hats you have to wear. You have to find the deals, you have to do due diligence, you have to do the underwriting. Make your contacts out there in the community between lenders, brokers, insurance agents. You have to be able to put together the capital stack, both from the loan and just your investors, and then understand how to manage that deal. Now, past that, you need your external team. We talked a little bit about bankers and of course, insurance brokers. You need property managers. People are going to run this deal daily. So for you to get started, you have to understand where you want to be, right? Your ultimate goal is to buy what, and what is that going to produce for you? And then what are the team members that you need to do to be able to make this deal a success? If you can start with those core principles right there, you'll get yourself out of the gate, get yourself to that next question you have to ask to get deals done. Multifamily real estate or single family real estate? Well, ideally, we love multifamily, and there's a number of reasons why we love multifamily real estate. And simply for that is because there's multiple ways to win, right? With a single family investment, whether or not you're doing a buy and hold or a flip, there's typically one tenant and one access to one revenue stream. So pressure comes to you, right? If there's no tenants in there, well, who is going to be now covering the mortgage, right? You're going to be covering that mortgage. If a roof goes, you have one tenant that's not giving you a ton of income, and you have to basically put out the money to be able to cover the cost of that roof. Now, from a multifamily side, you have the ability to get cash flow from various tenants that are living in that. It's a 50 units or 100 units, and there's 100 tenants that can go in there, pay the rent, which is going to cover your expenses, we're going to cover your mortgage and give you cash flow. Beyond that, you have a bigger built-in opportunity to produce or create appreciation in. You can do strategic renovations, everything from increasing the income streams or expense streams that can basically improve your bottom line. And with commercial properties or multifamily properties here, the valuation is based on the net income you can produce across the property. With these larger properties, you get the diversification, right? Various units that can help cover these capital expenditures that you want to do to create value in a property, but also these things if a furnace goes down or an HVAC goes down, that may be one unit. So you have all this other income that can help cover that cost instead of a house where there's simply just one tenant, one HVAC system, and you have to have the funds available for these one-time expenses that come out. From a management side, it's very difficult to manage a single family, mainly doing that yourself, and it's not a good revenue generation for a property management company unless they have hundreds or thousands of units. And typically the players you deal with from a management perspective are not the best quality, or there are, but not the ones typically you will find that are just going to manage one house for you. However, side, you can find very professional groups that can help manage the day-to-day, because those operations can afford to pay salaries for leasing people and maintenance people, and also give you the ability to not be doing the day-to-day activities. So from a single family versus a multifamily side, there's of course many reasons why you do not see any flippers on top 100 list, right? But you do see people who are in commercial real estate, and that serves for you to understand why multifamily real estate is the place to be. So the current state of the multifamily real estate market has been turbulent, right? That's to say it lightly. And a lot of this has been for the uncertainty in the markets, with the Fed a massive run of increase in rates over the last year here. You've seen interest rates become very difficult to find the right loan product for your multifamily investment. However, on the other side of it, sellers are now not getting these crazy price valuations before they were able to ask their price. So there is that opportunity right now to find there who need to sell or want to sell and be able to find loan terms or just even better pricing with them to get the deal done. So if you ask where we stand in the multifamily market, is that there's always a path forward, right? In good times and bad times, where multifamily can serve the test of time to be a great investment for you. We get the question, with a larger property, it must be more difficult to manage. But ideally, it's actually the opposite, right? If you have a 100-unit property, it becomes easier to manage because you're able to manage it like a business. Think about it this way, right? When it's a single family home, there's really just got to be you out there. So any of the repairs, you have to find the people, go out, plumber, or hire a contractor. You have to deal one-on-one with the tenant, or you're finding a property manager who has a lot of other properties and aren't really isolated on this property. With a larger property, 100-unit property, you will have a maintenance property and a leasing person that you've hired for this property. They're there specifically to take care of this property, right? So you're not be as rampant and not be as hard to have them taken care of, because you have someone there dealing with the day-to-day maintenance of the property. Beyond that, from a leasing standpoint, you have someone there that's dedicated to finding tenants to be able to rent these units, taking collections, dealing with the day-to-day activities. So you're able to manage the investment and not tenants, right? So from a part of real estate management, multifamily real estate is actually much easier, because it's a process that you can treat it like a business and not just like a house. Some of the pros and cons to investing in this market come on the side of you not having really a grasp of where the market's headed. Now we've seen massive rise in increase in interest rates. And with that said, today the Fed has paused rate increases, but they've left it open that they could potentially increase rates into the future here. So for you, you're going to be working with lenders that are on the same side, not understanding how to put out the loan that's going to give you life of your property, right? They may be giving you terms that are safeguarding them as the bank, right? So there's that point of risk here where you're trying to do projects where there's still inflated values, but you're not getting the best loan terms. So it's going to squeeze your ability to make the returns you want. On the other side of that is that, of course, in downturns, there's always opportunity, right? That potentially would have been more difficult to do in the rise up of pricing, where sellers are more affable because they haven't been able to sell their property to take a lower price. And although you do not have the terms maybe you want today, maybe you do believe the market's going to turn around. Traditionally, right now, we are at a prime rate of 8.25. Traditionally, prime has always been in the mid fives on average over the last 2 decades. So if you look at that and you ask yourself, do I believe the market's going to turn around and we're going to see interest rates level off, right? We're going to get control of inflation. Well, now might be a great opportunity to find steals out there, find properties that you're finding at discounts, where when the market turns around and you're able to refinance this property or sell this property and put this property in even a better light than where you stand today. So some other pros and cons to investing in this market is that we typically have two sides of the coin, right? When deals are hard to find, it means that the right energy is going space, into the multifamily space. So of course there's a lot of money from a banking side and from an investor side that wants to get active in this space, right? So it's very easy to find money, but however, the deals are hard to come by. When you flip the coin and you've seen now the market transition into a less favorable investing market, you start to see the opposite right now. You start to see more opportunity out there to find deals. However, the money that you can get access to is either not the best terms, or you just don't have the amount of liquidity in the market that wants to come into these deals, right? So you have to find that there's always going to be a plug and play, a yin and yang of just difficulty to find access to. However, it's going to go on both sides. When deals are plentiful, ideally, you're going to have a hard time to source the capital. However, when deals are hard to come by, there's going to be more money out there, more money chasing less deals. So as you say, where do you stand today? And if you can look at where the opportunity lies, you can find yourself to position yourself to be in the right, to do deals appropriately, regardless of what side of the market you stand. How do I know if I am working with a great real estate agent or real estate broker? Ideally, you have to throw the question back to yourself. How can I be a great investor that a real estate agent or a broker wants to work with? When you think about this, brokers and real estate agents, they when they do transactions, right? When they work with someone who's going to go in there and do what they say you're going to do. So if you want to be a great investor to work with here, you have to do what you're going to say you're going to do. You have to give them clear parameters of what you're looking for. You have to give them feedback when they bring you something, right? Even if it's not a bunch of great deals, right? You're creating a new relationship. You might not see the cream of the. You need to give them feedback. You need to show them that you are there to make this happen, to buy multifamily real estate. So when they bring you opportunities that don't quite fit your buy box, give them feedback why, right? Be a person who responds, because so many times they meet so many people in a day who want to buy multifamily real estate. They send them and they never hear back from them, right? So they're going to go to the people that are creating relationships with them, that they want to work with, that's going to do deals with them, just like they want to do deals with you. And on the other side of it, you have to be able to act. They do not want to put themselves in front of a transaction here for someone who just can't get to the closing line. So you need to have processes in place. So when you say, hey, this is a great deal for me, here's my offer, you can give them the confidence that this deal is going to get across the finish line. So ideally, if you can find someone who's going out there to finding great deals for you, being specific with what you want really helps them. If you say, I want to buy multifamily real estate, that could be a 4-unit, that could be a 100-unit, that could be a 200. It could be a Class A, just recently built property. It could be something that needs a ton of construction work. They don't know. But if you give them more guidance on what you're looking for, why you're looking for it, where you're looking for it, it's going to help them get to the goal to bring you the right property to get the deal done.